Loops. Loops repeat. Loops are needed to repeatedly execute some kind of logic. The logic is placed in a loop and executed the required number of times so that you don't have to create the same fragments many times. You can also put loops into another loop and replace the data on each execution. Let's say we want to output information from array 1. We indicate the number of the cell from which we want to take the information, and we take the print string to output it on the screen. Then we take what is at index 1 and also output it on the screen. Next, what is at index 2 and so on, 3, 4, until we finish with the entire array. Well, if you have only 3 elements, it's okay to output them manually. Thus, it turns out that we have executed certain logic a certain number of times, changing only one parameter. These are indexes. But what if you were working with a large amount of data? And it doesn't have to be arrays. Any logic that needs to be repeated a large number of times. That's when you need to use loops. To call a loop is not to enter word loop in the context menu, and it will display all possible options. As you can see, there are 6 of them. The first 3 are for manipulating arrays. They are located in the array tab, and the next 3 in the flow control tab are universal loops. Let's analyze each of them. Here we indicate from which index to loop. That is, if we specify first index 0 and last index 3, then the loop counter will start from 0, each time increasing by 1 until it reaches 3. It turns out that the logic attached to the loop body will be executed 4 times, and with each loop it will display an index, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. And the logic that follows the loop is attached to complete it. ForLoopWithBreak works exactly like a classic for loop, only it has a stop input. That is, we can interrupt it at any time convenient for us. And the third kind of loop is the while loop. It's controlled by the Boolean variable condition. That is, as long as this is true, the loop is executed, and as soon as it's false here, the loop stops executing. Now let's consider loops for working with arrays. For each loop, it's simple for a loop to iterate over an array. We select an array as input, and the logic attached to the body of the loop increments as many times as there are elements in the array. Array element outputs the array element at the current index. Array index shows the current index. Completed, execute the logic when the loop ends. Let's output all the data from the array using the ForEachLoop and report it when we are done. For each loop with break, everything is exactly the same, only with the possibility of stopping. ReverseForEachLoop works the same as ForEachLoop, only backwards. Actually, that's what the prefix reverse means. If you click on the loop, you can find a whole function that can be upgraded. For example, put a delay so that the loop is not executed all at once. DoOnce, DoOnce, and DoOnceMultiInput can also be referred to as loops. They're all located in the Flow Control tab. DoN executes the logic certain number of times. DoOnce executes the logic once and can be reset. DoOnceMultiInput works exactly like DoOnce, only it has a large number of inputs and outputs. When entering B, it calls B out. When entering C, C is called, and so on.